Hello and welcome to another drawing session of the Honey Bunny comic.
Hey, how you all doing?
Yes.
Well,
I'm a
actually, I
little
can't hear you.
I'm a little
So,
tired
oh yeah,
because
me too.
my cat, my little cat, she has this really bad habit of urinating after like guests show up. So I think it's like her anxiety thing because she never does it whenever peop she she only does it when people come over, and it's really starting to mess me up. But I'm sacrificing my tiredness. I could be in bed right now, but I'm doing it for you guys.
I'm doing it for the friends. But yeah,
Now,
no, I mean, yeah.
like 30 days in, we need to do a video where we get our big fat heads in the thumbnail, and then we have really sad faces, and then, like, the big text says "It's over."
Yeah, and then not only that too, but like we're gonna have like red circles pointing at like our eyebrows so that you know what's up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 15 things you didn't know about why we suck.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, but yeah, so one thing we can say about the campaign is as of now, we've extended it. So I think there's like 27, 28 days, like, no, 27 days now on it instead of the four that it originally was going to be. But yeah, we've extended it. So you'll have a lot more time to decide if you want to like put something towards it. And if you do, we really appreciate it. So,
Yeah, there's
but
like
yeah, so
28 days later.
28 days
They're making
later.
a new one, aren't they? It's
That's right. Yeah, 28 years later, which reminds me, there's a new trailer out. I need to watch that later.
Man, when it came to zombie movies, I think that that's pretty good.
Oh, it's amazing. Like I watched it for the first time, I think back in February, and I was actually gobsmacked. I was like, "Oh my god, this is really fucking good."
So my thing about like the rage zombies is that like most of the time in zombie apocalypse things, the whole point is that people are bad, and the
Yeah.
moment that society collapses, people become the enemy because the zombies are just slow and stupid, and you can just like outrun them. In like the Romero zombies, it's the people that mess everything up, really.
In a way, yeah. Which, speaking of which, the way that new film looks, it looks like it might have a bit of that. So, but we'll see. We'll
I mean,
see.
there's also Save Birmingham.
Save Birmingham.
God
You see,
save Birmingham.
You show me that, but for some odd reason, people keep claiming that it's a scam, and I don't understand how or what. Because a lot of people think that it's going to be one of those like weird like tech demo things where the final game will look nothing like it. But still,
I mean,
only time will tell.
unlike all of the other games coming out, they actually showed gameplay, so I don't know.
Hmm. To be fair, though, like some of those like scammy games have had similar things where it looks legit at first, but still, again, only time will tell. But
Yeah.
that name, though, Birmingham, I'm probably not going to go any further than that. But
Every
still.
single joke, every single joke is like a Detroit joke, where it's like, "Oh, looks like Birmingham right now."
Pretty much, yeah. Like it's oh, it's like I don't see the difference between this and now. So,
Yeah.
oh, do me a favor. Could you stream your screen so I can see what you're doing?
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
yeah. So I
Uh,
think today you're going to be what lining page 2, I think.
yeah. I'm gonna be focusing on line work until we actually get the Indiegogo money. Please support our Indiegogo, and if you can't, you like we understand. Just like rate, comment, subscribe, shoot us a message, like roll around on the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah. Like honestly, like we could really use the help, but we get it. It's a trying time we live in right now.
Yeah, it's a
But
really trying
still,
time. Nobody has money except for when the Oblivion thing came out, and then everybody suddenly had money to buy it.
yeah. Everyone had to take out a loan just to afford the Oblivion remake.
My favorite financial thing ever is, ah man, I don't have any cash for that right now. but like
Mm.
that guy bought every new console that came out, and I'm
Yeah,
like, well,
like yes,
I
yeah.
think that external pressures is not the reason why you don't have money, my guy.
I just that is like really funny to me, like people's priorities and shit like that, and like you know,
Yeah,
'cause, I mean, don't get me wrong, I play games, I love games, but I am getting to that age. I mean, what's the date today? 13th. So I'm like 5 days away from turning 30, and as someone who's played games since the age of 6, maybe even younger, like I don't see it that much of a priority anymore. I just see it as just like it's a toy. Like they're toys. They're pretty much toys when you think about it.
they are toys. They're just
Yeah,
like, toys for adults and squeaky children,
exactly. Yeah.
because those are
So
the only two kinds of people that ever make video game content. I
pretty
got to
much,
pull
yeah.
up the previous page to like make sure that I'm keeping this consistent.
Yeah, man.
Let's
To
see.
make sure that her, just make sure that dwarf's midriff is like ridiculously buff, like in the sketch.
Uh-huh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. That's an important contention piece. Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, like zombie things. Not buff
Oh yeah.
abdomens. I wanted to talk about like, so you know how like most people when they talk about like the speed zombies versus like the Romero slow zombies,
Mm-hmm.
Night of the Living Dead, like the first zombie movie.
Yeah.
Did you know that in like the 80s, um, the guy that did the special effects for that shit, Tom Savini, made a remake of that first movie, and he actually addresses the fact that the zombies are so fucking slow that you can actually just run around them.
This isn't like the punk one, is it?
No, no. It is literally a remake of the first movie, and the lady that's like crazy and catatonic throughout the entire movie, um,
Yeah.
she gets out of her catatonia quickly and becomes an actual character.
Fair enough.
Also, because it's like 1980s Tom Savini, like
Yeah.
the the special effects are really good.
Oh wow. I'll have to look that up. Is it still called like Night of the Living Dead or something?
I think so. But you just have to see which one is directed by Tom Savini. There's another remake of Night of the Living Dead that's it was directed by the leader of the Church of Satanism.
Uh, Go on.
It's once again, it's almost a shot for shot remake of the first movie, but yeah, I think it's like Ken Levine or whatever, like Ted Levine, Ken Levine. It's one of those. Like
Wow.
the leader of the Church of Satanism directed a shot for shot remake of that fucking shit.
That does sound
And
pretty
it's
interesting. I'll
not
have to look
great.
it.
It's pretty
Oh,
bad, which is sad
God
about it.
damn it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you were like hyping me up and then you just fucking shut it down. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh well.
If I just have it like that, I can just look. Okay, I gave her like shorts, so I'm not gonna give her the
It's
little.
fine. Yeah,
I'm not
you
gonna give her the little dangly doos.
yeah, I mean you did take some liberties with like the designs, like with a honey bunny, I remember originally her tail was always going to be hidden underneath the straight jacket, but then you made it like pop out, and I think you made like the right decision on that one.
Yeah, and it was definitely like a design decision, and not the fact that I was like really lazy and then drew cartoon Rabbit Woman.
I honestly like if that was just you being lazy, it's probably one of those few instances where you being lazy actually like helped it, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I think that there's a little bit of. Sometimes I actually have to go back and fix something tremendously
Yeah.
wrong, but for the most part, when something like that happens, you're like, oh yeah, actually, you're tired because you put a lot of work into it, and then you're tired, and then afterwards you're like,
Yeah.
man, you know what? That actually looks way better, dude. Like,
Sometimes like that, like outsider, or like, well, in this case, again, you were just tired. That kind of helped it. But yeah, no, I think you did a great job doing it like that. So I also remember too, Stream used to have like her arms they used to be like what bare, where you could just see like her green skin, and you added like the red kind of like sleeves to it.
Yeah, I gave her more of like a jesterish outfit.
Yeah, and then Nina had like what was it like a longer like waistcoat thing, but then you were like, yeah, it's gonna be a bit awkward if she's fighting. So
Yeah. Also, I kind of like what I'm doing right here with your sketch. Like, I
Mhm.
changed what Stream's nose looks like.
Yeah, 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 man. Ooh, but
I,
yeah,
I
so
have I have the hankering to talk about zombie movies now for some reason.
you know, you could probably because you kind of know a lot of like weird, obscure stuff, and maybe you can answer this one. Isn't there like an Italian series called Zombie, spelled without the E?
Okay, so I think 1950s, 1960s, they made like Dawn of the Dead, right?
Uh huh.
Or like Night of the Living Dead. In Italy, they called that
Yeah.
movie Zombie. But
Ah, I see.
because that movie, that first one, fucked up its copyright, the Italians were like, "Oh, we can just make our own Zombie 2." So that's Zombie 2.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was
And
actually
then
James Rolfe. Yeah.
and then because like the creator of that shit is tight with John Romero because that's how they got their movies translated for Europe.
Oh yeah.
Zombie 3 is Dawn of the Dead, which would technically be Zombie 2.
Oh God.
And then Zombie 4 is made by a completely different dude. I think his name was like something Bruno Mattei. And Bruno
Yeah.
Mattei makes garbage movies.
Jesus.
Yeah, those like the history of those movies is crazy. And I know I'm getting it wrong because they constantly re-released, re-edited, and then remade these movies so many times. Italian schlock movies are really feast or famine because they're either the best thing ever or really boring stock footage usage.
God. That's hilarious. Something I learned when I was like listening to our first podcast recording is whenever you say someone's name, like a celebrity or like a historic person, it actually like comes up at the bottom of YouTube. So like for the last one, we said Frank Zappa, we said Leonardo DiCaprio, no, Leonardo da Vinci. Well, both of those are going to pop up now. But yeah, like YouTube has this really interesting system now where his like popular people will actually be listed at the bottom because it's like people mentioned.
Hmm.
So we could probably just keep like fulfilling that list if we just keep saying like celebrity names.
Hi, and welcome to Honey Bunny TMZ.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that one guy that's no longer going to play the Flash anymore for being a weirdo.
I like the idea. Oh, by the way, I think your alarm's going off.
I know it's somewhere in this room and I don't know where to find it.
No, whatever. Then people can just listen to that go off. Then.
I'm so sorry. Well, this is. Have you noticed a trend with me? I don't know how many people you sleep with, but I have like sleepovers at my place a lot because we just
Yeah.
have a lot of friends that live out of state, so they come here to visit.
Hmm.
The amount of people who set alarms and then don't actually wake up to them, even though it's going off.
Oh yeah.
I've noticed that as a trend, and I honest to God think it's that the sound isn't shrill enough. It doesn't scare the absolute piss out of you. Because alarms
Yeah.
used to go like, "Brap!"
Yeah. I remember. Like, it's really weird because I was thinking about this. Where what was I going to say? Like, whenever I hear like an alarm, like a typical like alarm that I associate alarms with, like a noise and what have you, like it kind of freaks me out like mentally because I'm like even if it's like the middle of the day and I hear it go off, I'm just like, and I'm just like I'm almost like wide awake even though I already am wide awake. Like I swear it's like a weird psyop thing. I don't know I don't know what the right word for it is, but still,
So
it is really weird.
alarms used to be so shrill back in the day with like the "Brap, brap, brap," that like
Yeah.
And then whenever I didn't do that alarm, I had one of those like, Emerson like CD um one of those like CD player alarms, and
Oh yeah.
I would put in like the Led Zeppelin greatest hits album, and like I would wake up to, hey mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove, dun 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 dun, dun.
God, like using like rock music or heavy metal as like a wake up alarm is a sure way to get a heart attack because like I do remember using Linkin Park, and then there was a time period where I'd wake up to from the top to the bottom, and it was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change this arm position. The arm position that you put here is a little stumpy.
Yeah, the you know what? Like this might sound like an excuse, but like I do generally think that the models that are in Cliff Studio Paint like are fucking shit.
Well, that's
I
why we were
just
switching to Daz. We're yeah.
Oh yeah, another thing I also noticed too with Daz is that like you can only really do this with like the hands, but like when you like have like bare feet like on the ground or what have you, like you actually can't manipulate the toes in CSP
Yeah.
like at all. And it's
Another
really fucking annoying.
Another really neat thing about Daz too is that if you set up a camera, you can actually like create the focal length of the camera. So in Daz
Yeah,
3D, you can actually make a fisheye lens or like a optical zoom lens, and it will actually show the character. So the human eyeball, since camera lenses and like screens to another extent,
hmm,
um, because camera lenses only have one eyeball instead of two
yeah,
like us.
yeah,
Um, the closest lens that you can get to the human eyeball is anywhere between a 32 millimeter and a 35 millimeter lens.
that's right.
There's
Yeah,
still going to be distortion, but that's the closest you can get to the human eyeball. Um, you can do that in Daz, and this is
no,
this is a 3D program that's free. The assets aren't, but like you can just get this program for free. We're not sponsored by them, by the way, which it would
oh
be
no.
awesome if we were, because
Hey,
I really love using their software.
hey, real talk. If I don't know how it works, if like they reach to us or like if they get pinged, but like if we actually had like a DAS sponsorship, I'd fucking eat that up like straight away.
Yeah, well, even if they just gave us like, I don't know, like free assets, or I don't know, front page stuff or whatever, or even if it was just a
Yeah.
discount. To be brutally honest, I just like actually using their software.
Oh mate, like you know what made me realize why I really like this. This was the moment I realized that like DAS is what I need was. So these pages right now that we're working on, they're still using like the old CSP models because this was like a while back. But having to like position these models and also trying to keep the camera like consistent with what I originally wanted was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
In DAS, you can set up multiple cameras, so you can effectively be like, okay, I'm going to position this here. That's not quite good from this angle. Then use like a free camera to then go in and adjust what you need, and then you switch back between the set camera, and it's just like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted. So that was actually the moment I realized, yep, I'm going to just try and use DAS as like drawing references.
Also, I got you to buy that like body control thing yesterday, and because of that, like the amount of shapes for people that you can do is
Like
insane
quadruple.
now.
It's like quadruple, maybe even more. So yeah.
Yeah.
God. It's always good when you like get that one software that just like eliminates a problem you've had for the longest time.
It's the same thing that I talk about whenever I do whenever people talk about like, oh, I use Clip Studio Paint, I use Fire Alpaca, and I'm like,
Mm,
I use Photoshop, and everyone's immediate response is, fuck Adobe. Adobe sucks. I pay like
yeah.
a whole $2. What the fuck? And then I come out of the woodwork and I'm like, can you use this tool? And it's like, that's not a tool. And I'm like, it is in Photoshop.
It's either not or it is, but you have to do some like you have to
Yep.
like jump through some hoops to
You
get
have
to
to
it.
jump through some insane hoops. And yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that that's bougie, right? I
Hmm.
understand that that's like you're paying for the bells and whistles, but do I want to spend an extra 30 minutes doing something when I can do it for like in 2 seconds in Photoshop? All right, here's our third sponsorship, Pepsi. Oh yeah.
God.
Mm. Oh man. As I said, I really wish they had canned coffee really became a thing in the States.
Yeah, there's a time period I almost exclusively drank like canned, not necessarily canned coffee, but just like cold coffee. And goddamn, like it was as nice as it was, like it is still like caffeine. So don't try not to get addicted to that.
I'm giving this dwarf kind of like a weird flower petal version of their armor.
I mean,
I
yeah, go
think it
for it
looks I
if you
think
want
it
to.
looks neat.
You know what? I like that. It's just too bad that she's gonna.
Do her taxes? Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna do her taxes in like next 3 pages.
Yeah. She needed that DD 214, but she you could say she gets ahead of herself.
Christ.
Oh, you can't help her.
I don't know why. I mean, I'm kind of almost spoiling it when I say this, but like, I do find it really funny that one YouTube video about that kid who lives in a mansion and he's obsessed with that girl from Danganronpa who only has like probably like 15 minutes screen time. You've seen that, right?
Oh, the guy who makes the giant
I
cutouts.
Yeah, and it's for like one anime girl who's barely in the game because she
Yeah, and
dies like straight away.
like his dad is like a movie producer or something.
He wrote Grease. He made fucking
Oh,
Grease.
yeah. Dude, the guy that plays one of the main characters in Grease, he's like 90 something. He looks like he's in his 50s.
Oh yeah, he took care of himself then.
Yeah, that or he had the best genetics. I don't know, man.
God, but because God, that video is amazing because like you watch the whole video and you can clearly tell that this kid is loaded because he's in a mansion on his own. And throughout the whole video, the guy who made the video, Nick Robinson, is like, I had that same question everybody else had throughout this entire endeavor, which is like, how does he afford all this? And that's when it was like it drops the bomb at the end. Where it's like, oh yeah, my dad wrote Grease.
I mean, it's one of those like cuz I could see this being like a smaller hobby if you weren't as rich. Like,
Oh yeah,
somebody going on like, the computer and like MS Paint drawing something or like printing something out and like covering their walls with it. It's just that this kid had a budget.
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Not only
like
that,
this
like
kid.
the craftsmanship of it, like if nothing else, I honestly like the skill that he's showing. I think that at some point in his life, he might become like an advertising person.
Well, it's funny you say that because in the video he actually just say that he wants to like make a career out of this. So
Dude, yeah, if he I mean, there's a fucking YouTuber. Oh god, I forgot what his name is. I'm gonna have to look it up. Um, because this guy is insanely weird. So, not in a bad way, mind you.
right,
Let me
right.
look this guy up real quick. There is a guy that reviews cameras,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's like this blonde dude. Um, what are those like handy cameras? Okay, there's this YouTube channel called Marcus Pix, right?
Yeah.
Pix. Um, I this guy back in like the late 80s did all of the art for pinball machines.
Oh no shit.
Becomes a millionaire doing pinball machines. Makes a whole bunch of short films and does a lot of like photography, like professional photography,
Hmm.
has a slump in his life, disappeared, married like a supermodel, gets back into photography, but only for his wife. Also writes like 12 books on writes like 12 books on eating healthy, makes even more money, and now like reviews cameras and light setups on YouTube in his giant mansion that has an atom bomb bunker.
God, those are the types of like rich people. Those are kind of like the rich people that I kind of like because like the guy worked his fucking ass off for it, you know.
Not only that, like he's like so mellow in all of his videos. All of his videos, he's like, "Hey there, guys, let's talk about like what's going on with this camera. This camera, like, it's not the best picture quality, but I really like the fact that it just flips out like that. I think it's neat." I'm like, you know what? I could sit here and watch this for like 10 hours. I honest to God.
I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah. Also, he does like Christmas like giveaways where if he has too much crap, he'll just give people like expensive hardware if you just like sign in.
God, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was neat.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, that I given that like he has way more views than us, so like I'm not really giving him a shout out, but
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, then again, if the YouTube algorithm has that thing now where it just tells you people, maybe he. Actually, that makes the question. If you mention like famous YouTubers, like I would imagine it like pings at the bottom, but like, does it notify them as well? Then again, everyone's talking about them, so it's not like they would necessarily look at it.
oh, I don't know. What I do know for a fact though is that he's like this. He's kind of like a really like California esque like hippie dude.
Oh yeah.
But because he's just interested in doing like everything, there is a video of him like, oh yeah, this is my house when I lived in Arizona or something, and I wired the entire thing myself to solar panels, and you're like, what?
Jesus.
Or like, yeah, so this is the new house that we moved into. It does have a bunker. Let me show you what it looks like. Also, since this bunker was like this house was supposed to be for like UN dignitaries, that there's just a shooting gallery for real guns down here. And
No
then he's
shit.
like, I don't think that like guns are like a really big thing that people should own, but here's my Marlin like here's my Marlin cowboy repeater rifle, and then he just starts shooting like bowling pins and shit. I love that guy.
That's
That guy's because he's just like he. I think that he's a great example of if your mind is open to new things and you don't
yeah.
if you don't close yourself off, you can achieve anything.
I do think that's pretty cool. You know what's kind of ironic with me? Like, I never really had the like. I mean, when I was younger, this was like a different case. But like, when I was younger, I kind of had dreams about doing YouTube stuff, and then as I got older, it kind of like fizzled out. Like, I didn't really like care, you know. But the irony is now that we're doing these like YouTube videos, like I guess in a way, I'm technically kind of doing that now.
Yeah.
And you never know, like maybe this could blossom into something much bigger than we intended. So.
I mean, I think that one of the things that really is like getting us to do this is, we're not really doing it for fame or anything like that. We're doing this because we want to change careers. I think
Yeah,
that the money motivation aspect is definitely one of the things that definitely because most people are like, oh yeah, I want to be like Markiplier. It's like I want to be able to pay for electricity.
you know, like I am on the same boat with you, but like, what's funny is like, you get people out there that's like, I want to be the next, Kira Toriyama, or I want to be the next Kento Miura, and it's like the reality is that you're never really going to be those people. But like, I would love to be like the first Adam Williams in terms of like art, if I could achieve that,
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing too. Like, let's say hypothetically this was like big, and someone, I mean, this isn't again, this is I'm not aiming it for it to be this, but if someone was like hypothetically was like, this is the British Dragon Ball, like, that would feel like an accomplishment, but at the same time, that's not what I was aiming for. And you know what I mean?
The British
Like sometimes
Dragon Ball.
the British Dragon Ball. I'm just imagining
Yeah.
like many like top hats just fighting each other.
That's literally just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, my guy. That's
I,
that's literally just that.
I never watched the part one, so
You know, I'm gonna say it, and I might be the only person that's gonna say it, but I actually like part one the most. First of all,
well,
they use a type of power that they don't use in the rest of the show.
mm,
Is she carrying an axe? She is carrying an axe. Okay.
yeah, it's an axe. Yeah, if you look at the later pages, you'll see it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do like I'm gonna
Well, then
cheat.
again, if
I'm gonna
yeah,
cheat it just a little bit.
yeah, man.
There we go.
I'm trying to like mimic how you did these characters, but even then, this is on like the rough stage, so you can pretty much build off it later.
Yeah. But the other thing is that I'm really fucking big into Castlevania. Like I love Castlevania. And
Yeah, that's
that
yeah.
first season is just like
Oh, the TV show.
yeah, the anime. No, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, I was gonna say.
No, I love the video game. Oh, the Castlevania show, that show lost me, dude. It had me with the first season, and then it lost me progressively throughout the show. Oh, I could talk about how much I kind of dislike that. Because you would have plot A, which is all of the cool characters doing cool character things. You have the intermittent shots of the vampire apocalypse killing a lot of people, and those are the two cool things. And then the rest of it is Vampire Man getting tortured in the nuts and Bald Man making a slave army but saying that they're free. Yeah. Yeah, actually that is an apt description. Also, like overly confident vampire woman who thinks that she's hot shit, who you know for a fact is going to eat shit in like the next two paragraphs. She's like, "Yes, I am so cool. You better be afraid of me." And then she's gonna get her head ripped off in like 2 seconds. I see that coming
Yeah.
from a mile away.
I might still watch it and like judge it for myself, but still, like, you know what? What shocked me was I. I know we're living in a world now where like crossovers in games is like just the norm now, but it still feels like a fever dream to me that Dead by Daylight added Dracula as a killer in that game, and then you have like one of the Belmonts as a survivor because they did such a good job with that in that one. I think.
I think the thing that they really need to work on with that game is like a graphical upgrade.
It's kind of hit or miss because like for the most part I think the game looks fine, but then one thing I've noticed is like some of the character models look a bit iffy at times, like especially with the survivors.
Yeah. I think honestly, I think from what I've seen you play, it's the animations.
Oh yeah,
Some
the
of the
animations are rough.
animations, like you can tell that these models were created about like 8 years ago.
The earlier survivors, yeah.
You could tell that the framework for the animations was created like 8 years ago, and now they're trying to add
New
better
stuff, yeah.
better stuff to it. Like the guy's head unhinging when
Yeah.
he was screaming, like I was like, oh no.
That was that was kind of funny though. But yeah, that game, it's a weird one. I mean, I could also talk a lot about that game, but we'd be here all day, and I
I think
kind
the
of don't really
key
want to.
I think the key here is that other people still play it, and it's not League of Legends.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, no offense if anyone watches this plays League of Legends, but that's just a game I can never. It's funny because that game has like some really cool character designs. The only problem is they're all trapped in that game. So
They're the sweatiest boys.
oh, I'm well aware. Like,
Even and you know what? This is one of those cases where we don't have to say we're sorry if you like play League. It's just that game sucks. We don't have to say that, because people who play League say the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty jarring when like people who play these games are like, "Oh yeah, these are like the worst human beings that play these games." It's just like
And then
if you're saying it,
and then the people playing the game are like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm trash for playing this."
yeah.
My friend met his wife through League of Legends.
Oh god damn! Like that's really intrigues me.
That's
That's
probably the
like
most positive thing that game has ever done.
it's
Outside of
always
also
weird.
making one of the best like animated shows ever. Sorry, go ahead.
It's really weird because like all the people I spoke to where they've met their wives through video games, it's always through like the really trashy ones, and it's kind of makes me wonder if I'm wrong to like judge it, but still,
You
I
see,
don't know.
like I honestly think that like the way that you get a lady, and I mean it worked for me, is that instead of trying to worship the ground that she stands on, instead of doing that, you gotta like treat her like a friend, and not like a not girlfriend. You gotta treat her like a friend, which means that once in a while, once a blue moon, you gotta just shit talk her.
No, yeah, of course.
You just gotta be like, if she does something stupid or something, you just gotta be like, "Whoa, look at the big hero over here! Wow!" Or like, she's like, "Yeah, I think my anime selection is trash." And it's like, "Oh yeah, well, what do you watch?" "Yeah, I watch like Hellsing." "Oh, wow, you are trash. You gross, yucky." And then she instead of like, as said, worshiping the ground they stand on. Once in a while, you just gotta be like, "Yo, dog, that's stupid."
It's
Because
just, you
that
just
means that she could be herself around you,
yeah,
and you also
yeah,
challenge her shit sometimes. That's a good thing. That's a healthy relationship.
yeah. If you can just like speak your mind, yeah, and like within reason too, yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't be like the Twilight dudes where it's like, "I'm going to be an asshole always."
No, 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 no. God, Twilight, that was a thing.
God, that was a big thing. That was a big thing for a long time. The amount of old YouTube videos that I go back and watch, and they shit on Twilight and also young Justin Bieber.
Yeah, which is funny because now Justin Bieber's just another guy in the fucking system.
I
Like no
think
one, I don't.
I can't really hate his new music.
I just don't listen to it, so I couldn't really judge.
I think it's fine. It is slightly above average from everyone else's garbage.
Okay.
Also, I mean, he was part of Despacito.
Actually, just give me a sec. I just need to do something. A minute.
By the
Don't take
nine.
headphones off. God. Okay, I'm back.
Despacito was such a big song.
Gaspacito.
I'm not even gonna hazard to sing that song. I learned
No, no.
I learned the Macarena phonetically. I learned how to say that in Spanish, and that's hard because they mumble and speak a really weird accent of Spanish from Spain.
Yeah.
Los del Rio with their
Th
album
th
Amigusta.
those guys, by the way, I remember watching a video about the Macarena and how that's like, took over the world for a bit.
Yeah.
Those guys, like, that was kind of only their really, like, popular song outside of Spain, because in Spain, they are from Spain, right?
Yes, they are from Spain.
Yeah, they are like superstars over there, whereas outside of the world, they're just known as the Macarena guys, and that was about it, really.
They were Los del Rio. They were a club band, and they were invited to some South American dictator's like party because he
Oh.
wanted them to perform. And while they were taking a break, another performer was dancing, and then they based the song off of that lady dancing. So that's already like a really weird set of circumstances to create a song. Then the song is about like a woman cheating on her military husband or her
Yeah,
military boyfriend. So the song
yeah,
is
yeah.
about getting jodied. And what
It's funny
makes
that
it
that gets
even
played at
worse,
weddings.
what makes it even weirder is they named it after one of their daughters,
Oh, really?
which is a really weird thing to do when it's such a negative context. Like there's a lot of weird, and then the song was bopping around for like a few months, and then they made it as a single. It really only got radio play. Then there was the River remix where that's where they got the dun, 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 dun.
Mm.
And then that one group did a version of the River remix with English lyrics.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's what made it explode fucking everywhere. But like that River remix, I think is the best version of that song.
Yeah, 100%. I just still find it funny given the context of the song that it gets played at weddings and stuff. So
Yeah, it's a song about cheating on someone. Even the English lyrics. Honestly, the English lyrics make it sound less like she's cheating on somebody and more like she's about to murder her boyfriend. Dalla tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dalla tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Hi!
Hey. God.
The rest of their music sounds fine.
I wouldn't know either way, honestly.
Yeah, no one ever will.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious is given my given my current life goals, there's a chance that like I'll probably end up learning a lot more about them in the sometime like in the near future.
Spain.
You'll find me in the one place you won't think to look. Spain. Fucking Tim Curry's.
There are
What's his
so many
face?
European countries that I didn't know about where you can just have guns.
Well, that was the funny thing when I went to Spain was I found this like weird gun shop thing because it like had all this like military shit in the display window. And then I went in there and I saw all these guns on display, and then I said to the guy, I asked the shopkeeper, I was like, are these all like real guns, or like, are these all like real guns or airsoft? And I think he must have been asking me which ones are the airsoft guns. So then he pointed me to a certain display case, which means that the rest I was looking at were real. I was like, oh. But isn't it, I could be wrong, but I think you can only have them for like hunting. I could be wrong though.
That's a lot of European countries. But then again, I mean, if I want to be really good at hunting, I have to go to the range and practice.
Yeah.
Like I found out that there's like multiple different islands around Iceland and Greenland. Like
Yeah.
it's like archipelagos, and a lot of those places because they're basically like the frontier. They're just like have guns. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like the once in a while polar bears show up. We should probably have those.
Yeah. 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 Oh, real quick regarding that page you're drawing. So in this scene right here, she's going to comment about how the boar's behavior looked a bit irregular. So I don't know if her smile would actually be fitting for that.
Well, you drew a smile.
Well, it's being more like, unless, but yeah, she's like, huh, is it just me or did that seem a bit irregular at the movement?
There we go.
Okay. Nice, nice. Shala, head
I
shala.
actually don't like that song.
Oh, the Dragon Ball one?
The Dragon Ball Z song, yeah.
Was you more a dragon, rock the dragon? Was you more that guy?
I was more that guy. I think Bruce Faulkner's music, first of all, I know his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, secondly, I think Bruce Faulkner's music is a lot better. It doesn't have slide whistles and shit. Like a lot of that, like rock
Yeah.
music works really good. I think that like the OG Dragon Ball music is also okay. Like yeah,
Oh,
like that
I
stuff.
love that. Yeah.
But I mean that fits like the general vibe. I think the general vibe for like Dragon Ball Z is like, yeah, Dragon Ball Z. Oh, this ain't your dad's adventure. We're gonna go like blow up planets.
I still love that one from the, was it the Ocean Dove, where it's like, oh, it's too bad it's a Sunday. What was it? It's too bad it's a, what was it
Oh,
he said?
okay. So, like the two evil Saiyans, Vegeta and Nappa, enter Earth's atmosphere and explode through a building with their little like space pods. When they
Yeah.
pop the space pods open, like they look around and Vegeta, the short king himself, looks over and he's like, "Too bad it's Sunday. That building would have been filled with people tomorrow."
Because, well, didn't they do that because they had to like try and keep it somewhat kid friendly?
Yeah, because it was on like Kids WB or whatever, so they had to edit a lot of the violence out, and they could only do so much with their limited budget, so they just changed a lot of the dialogue. One of the
It's too
best
bad.
ones is also when Krillin was like, "Wow, that attack was really powerful. We almost went the way of the dinosaurs," which makes no sense because dinosaurs exist.
Dinosaurs are still fucking there.
Yes.
God, that's like, oh man.
I love the Ocean Dub because a lot of the decisions they made for the Ocean Dub I actually really prefer. Like Vegeta's voice being like, "Yes, I am the
Yeah.
Prince of all Saiyans." I like that voice a lot more than "Yes."
Yes, I am the Prince of Hosea.
I love no, I really do like his voice in that a lot better.
You know, I've said this before, like off camera, but like, did I tell you that like video about Goku's voice actor from the Ocean Dub trying to talk to Sean Shamel? The one where it's the one where basically, so they were both at like a convention, right? And he had his phone number, so he called Sean, being like, "Hey, I'm so and so. I did the voice of Goku in the Ocean Dub. You want to grab a drink and like hang out?" And I shit you not, Sean Shamel responded, being saying, "You're not Goku, I'm Goku." I just hung up on him. It was just like, wow, okay then. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
that guy is a little bit of a goober. We can't talk about what he said on certain recordings.
I'm sure people could find it themselves, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just because he has like that. He has like ego where he almost acts like he's irreplaceable. Which, I mean, deep into his career, like he's done Goku so many times, but like anyone's replaceable in reality.
Well, he lived
so.
long enough to see AI become the villain, so that's
Oh, I mean, he actually like goes after people for doing just impressions of Goku. So yeah,
oh, okay. Look at me, I'm Goku. Come at me, Dave
yeah.
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I'll say your name wrong.
Oh God, does Dave Chappelle have a cameo?
No, he doesn't. He's famous.
Oh,
He is famously a reclusive person.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I can't have him say like I'm the Prince of all Saiyans.
I am the prince of all Saiyans.
Oh, you know what? When you talked about having like a Texas guy in like a fantasy settings, if this Honey Bunny thing ever goes past being a comic, we need to have a Texas guy in there somewhere.
We make all of them Southern. We give that like
Oh,
all of them. All of them have Southern accents except Honey Bunny, who's British.
yeah, she's gonna be there. Like, Honey Bunny, a bit.
I'm crazy,
That-
I am. I'm a little rabbit. I'm crazy. And then streams like, what the hell's going on over yar?
Fucking Nina's like, Man, I'll tell you what, man. It seems like that damn Donald rode in
No,
head of them, man.
she'd be like she'd be the Southern gentleman. She'd be like, "What? I do say that I'm highly offended by what you're saying, sir.
You offended the dear Lord. That is Brackland, sir.
You have offended the Lord Bracklin's will."
It has. I swear to Christ, someone has to have made like a southern, like. Well, then again, that's like almost all the English dubs ever, where like the accents are just really weird, but still.
Yeah. And then we get rid of Maven's dialogue, and all she says is dee 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 da dee doo.
God, that I just feel like we've just YouTube pooped our own like series.
Well, if anybody makes a YouTube poop, we can easily say that we did it first.
Yeah, and then we copyright strike them. No.
Yeah, we destroy them. We use the system.
I will take you to court for making Honeybody sound British.
I will take your revenue away for 2 weeks, and I will put your YouTube channel in a state of limbo because he made fun of me.
Somebody phone me.
You made fun of me. I don't like that.
Can't say that.
God. When will people learn that all you end up doing when you copyright strike someone like that, all you're doing is making that person more popular?
Oh yeah.
Because now they have like this thing that they're struggling against, and if there's anything that the internet really, really likes, it's an underdog.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, oh fuck. It's like I don't really want to go into it because it's like drama stuff, but like I remember there was a guy that was going after a big YouTuber, and this guy was like a psycho. Like the guy who was trying to like fuck with this like YouTuber, he was like he's actual psychopath. I mean, he's in jail now for like stuff, but still. This guy was actually going after like a teenager YouTuber because the teenager like said some like criticized his video, and that teenager now has like a shit ton of like subscribers because this fucking idiot was like trying to like get him shut down.
Yeah, because like I think that a lot of these guys that want to like secure their videos or their image or their copyright don't understand the Streisand effect.
Of course, yeah.
And because the moment that like if you see a video that's making fun of you and it only has like 2 views, it's really not worth your time. It means nothing. But I could understand if somebody was like given like heavy horrible allegations or something like that, you might want to like challenge that. But if it's only like 2 views, who cares? The moment that you start getting angry about it, the internet is like a shark and you're putting blood in the water. Because now people are like, oh, this makes him angry? Oh, we need to give this guy support.
Well, yeah, like...
Yeah.
I think a lot of these people don't see, like... Because, it's like you said, the Streisand effect. Streisand, I can't really say it, but
Barbara Streisand, yeah.
Yeah. It's that, but like I think a lot of them are too like short. What is it? Short-sighted or short-term? Like when they don't really see how it could affect them later on in life,
Mm-hmm.
So I think people just think too much in the moment and not realizing, like, I probably should have done that. So
I'm giving her axe a pigtail.
Hey, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, that's the thing with these 3D models is like you don't necessarily have to like copy them to a T,
It's whatever.
So.
I mean, if it's a war axe, then yeah, you would have a pick.
Yeah, it is like a war axe. I mean, it's like I said, these 3D models are just bases, so...
Well, I said, with Daz, it's going to get better. And with your generous donations toward the Honey Bunny comic going to the Indiegogo campaign, we can get more 3D models in order to work off of, in order to make the project better. So please,
Right on and subscribe.
Come on down to well, don't go there. Oh no! Well, pardon me, good sir. Could you please dial the 911?
So yeah, we have an Indiegogo.
Yeah, so even though what I just said was extraordinarily obscene, could you give me $1, please? 2 would be nice.
2.
I'll give you a little kiss for $3. Actually, I shouldn't be saying stuff like that. Next thing you know, somebody's going to take us, like, ambulance chaser's going to take us to court. He did.
Yeah.
I gave him $3 exactly, and I did not get a beautiful little kiss from him.
I was always thinking about making a joke about if you get a tattoo, but then it's like, no, someone would actually do that, so I don't want to like be liable for that.
To be fair, people get tattoos of, like, so I can understand body art. And you know what? It's your body. You can deal with whatever you want. However, having, like, you know, the System of a Down logo right next to Garfield.
Yeah, like the juxtaposition, it's a bit like goofy. I just don't think I could ever like get a tattoo. Like, there's never like. Here's the thing: I don't think I'd ever get like a cartoon or something that I like because I'm the type of person where I'll like something one year and kind of dislike it next year. You know. So I just don't think there's like, even though I like to get like, you know, one of my favorite games of all time is Bully by Rockstar Games. I don't think I'll ever get a tattoo of that.
See, I
Never
look
will.
like a dad,
Yeah.
and having a really badass tattoo of, like, I don't know, if it bleeds, we could kill it, like on my chest or something.
Mhm.
If there was any, like, tattoo that I would get like a medical record, like my blood type and stuff on my chest, so that way if I have like a car accident, you know, somebody could just look at my chest and be like, oh, this is what he needs.
Oh yeah, you told me about that, and I was like, that is actually kind of clever.
That would be 100%, and I stole that from from Mad Max, baby.
You know, honestly, real talk. Like, I am thinking, like, in a situation where you know they have to like do some kind of like operation on you. They just see by your chest, like, oh, he's a blood type B. Like, okay, shit, I guess that just saved us a lot of time.
That would be one of it would be one of the most useful tattoos ever. And that because either A, it needs to be something really important to you.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me. It's like, you know, once again, but your body is your body. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to have like Hello Kitty fighting a Chinese dragon, you can do that.
That would actually be pretty bold, honestly.
Well, yeah, well, that would require creativity, and you know, also, you know, if my biggest advice for I don't have tattoos, but I have a lot of friends who either are tattoo artists or friends that have tattoos. Do not go cheap on tattoos, especially the higher detail you go. The higher detail that you want, do not get like the summer discount or whatever.
You know,
Get a guy who has a photo portfolio of work that he has done.
you know, I could also give some advice because I heard a guy tell me this like 3 years ago. If you're going to be one of those types of people that gets like your name or like a phrase in another language, try and make sure that you actually get that on your tattoo, like you get that actually tattooed. Because I remember there was a guy told me how someone had like they had like a phrase written in like Japanese or Chinese. It was Chinese, I remember it now. I think it was like Mandarin. So he had this like phrase written in Mandarin, and then a Chinese guy looked at that and started laughing at him, and he was like, "Whoa, what's up? It says this, doesn't it?" He says, "No, that says I love cat penis."
Okay,
So-
yeah, so here's my biggest advice for Japanese characters, at least, because I did study some Japanese, so that way I could read comics back in the yesteryear before the internet wasn't cool.
Oh, really?
If you're gonna get Japanese characters as a tattoo, use Romanji. Romanji is the
Oh, it's like the yeah.
yeah, it's romanized, and that's straight line writing, because whatever you write in that is exactly what it's supposed to be. If you do kanji, you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful, and then the guy making the tattoo has to do it perfectly, because the shape of the characters and the way that it's aligned can change the meaning drastically.
Oh, yeah. I learned that from like an anime once, where a guy I mean, the whole anime was kind of like like a dark comedy, but like there's an anime about like a suicidal teacher or something, and his name in kanji. If you add just one extra line to his name, it automatically makes his name turn into despair, which is really funny. But still,
Yeah.
it blew my mind. I was just like, just adding this one line, like it goes from his name to despair.
Yeah, because like the Japanese that like kanji comes from like, a weird mixture of like Korean and Chinese characters
Yeah,
because, before Japan was Japan, they were like an island nation of pirates. So they
that's
just
right.
like
Yeah.
stole a lot of the language from, the people that they pirated.
Yeah, language is like Japanese. Well, just language in general is really intriguing.
Yeah. The easiest language if you're like an English speaker is like German because a lot of it's pretty much the same. The only thing that's difficult is it's still romanized, so a lot of the things have genders,
Hmm.
but it's still easier than Spanish, I would say, if you're an English speaker.
I'll never forget because I actually did do a bit of like Duolingo with German, and I will never forget being in Mallorca, which had like various types of like European families, and there was like a German couple behind me where they was asking for water, which is like Vasa, and I was like, I know what that is. I love the fucking language. I felt so proud learning what water is in German that I just recognized it. I felt so proud.
I think the other thing is that because of the internet, English kind of became the world language.
Yeah, I mean statistically, it's still like the third most spoken language, but yeah, kind of is honestly.
Well, the reason why it a lot more people speak it is because, your famous YouTubers that kids watch are all
Hmm.
Americans or British people.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of kids end up learning English through watching like Markiplier or whatever.
Which blows my mind because like I remember watching a podcast where a guy I don't know if you know what Meg 64 is, but they used to take calls back in like the Scope days. And I remember a guy called in. He wasn't from Russia, he was from like kind of like that general area of that world, you know? And he was like, "Yeah, guys, I want to let you know that I actually learned how to speak English by watching your videos." And I'm like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me, really?" It's like, "Oh, yes, yes, your videos helped me a lot." It's just like, wow.
I mean,
But
outside of like because I'm German, outside of like Baden-Württemberg and outside of Baden-Württemberg and what's the other place? Hessen. Outside of those two like states, most Germans, especially the younger generation, they're all speaking like a bastardization of German and English.
oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So outside of like a few places where like rich, prideful people live,
Mm. Oh, Daniel, just to let you know, these poses on here are a bit kind of like choppy. So if you want to do like, if you want to like, touch them up when the time comes, you can do that.
it's fine. I think it's coming up.
So,
I think it's coming together. Look at that.
oh no, yours is fine. I meant it on my screen. So
Okay.
yeah, actually, am I streaming? Yeah, I am for you. Yeah.
I think I am, but I don't care.
Yeah, there was one of the girls at work who who saw our video for the Honey Bunny comic. She was like, "Yeah, that video you put together was really good, but I'm kind of sad that we didn't get to hear Honey talk because her being asleep, And I said to her, I was like, "Well, you can make that dream a reality if you were to donate one great British pound, So
Yeah. That's how you get people to hop aboard.
yeah, it is kind of funny though in the preview pages that she is just asleep, the main character, but still.
That's because we wanted to make it to where we wanted to have that character be a little bit more of a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why, that because I feel like whenever people like show stuff really early, they end up
Yeah.
spoiling a lot of the surprise, and then that ends up heavily scrutinized. I think that's
Oh yeah.
why Oblivion got shadow dropped, because if they announced that they were making an Oblivion remaster, remake,
Hmm.
if they announced that, people would have been like, "Whoa, they're just doing it again. Whoa, dude! Like, oh, it's gonna be like Skyrim, 50 versions of Oblivion, derp derp." I think fans, I think fans, or at least nerds, can be some of the most critical people online.
They kind of are, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do,
Also,
I
if you
do.
show if you show somebody a little tiny snippet of like a piece of plot that's important, because a lot of people are writing students, they'll be like, "Oh, this is how it's going to end. This is how the entire story is going to end."
Oh yeah, totally. Like, I mean, let me put it like this: we're not gonna say this right now, but like, there is stuff in this comic that we haven't even like shown at all in the previews. So it's, I mean, this whole comic's kind of like a mystery as well. So, but yeah, like we have to be very picky at what we show off, you know. So
Let's say that in this plot there is a mystery that the villains have. It starts off with the characters. The entire plot starts off with the characters just trying to find out what the deal is with this rabbit lady, and then the plot will slowly escalate as they uncover more and more stuff.
yeah, and that's all you're gonna get right now. So
Yeah.
you just kind of have to stick with us. So. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I kind of touched upon this in the last. I think we touched upon this in the last recording. Theoretically, you could probably see this entire comic through these YouTube videos. However, you will never be able to see what they're actually saying because that's going to be like done off camera. So,
Yeah.
so
Also,
whilst you
like,
could,
we're not
yeah,
going to do the George R. Martin thing where if the fans make a really, really good plot outline or they figure out what the plot is going to be, we're not going to be like, oh, they already found out what it is. I need to change everything.
no,
So
we're not
we're
doing
not
that.
doing that. If you guys end up figuring out what the entire plot of this is, we're or if you end up telling us a plot that's better than what we wrote, we're gonna be
No, no,
like,
no.
we're gonna be like, oh yeah, yeah, that's totally what we were gonna do. I was
God.
I was a DM for D&D for a really long time, and some of the best plot lines we've ever had was when people said, "Oh, is this what it's gonna be?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's totally what the plot's gonna be."
Yeah.
Shit, I need to write that down.
God damn.
Because I had one plot where it's going to be like, basic, like, yeah, they go to the Crystal Castle and then they fight the villain. But then it's like, are are these two guys that we met earlier going to be the actual antagonists? Are the guys that we've been traveling with going to be the real villains? And it's like, no, question mark.
Yeah. Do you ever feel a bit betrayed sometimes when you just figure out the plot way ahead of time? Like you feel like you waste your time because you just already know what's going to happen.
No, I think that especially if it's really well written, like you could have the entire plot of something. In fact, that's good writing. If you can have the entire plot of the movie spoiled to you and it's still entertaining. I think a great I think we talked about this already. Like The Interview.
What? Wait, the North Korean film?
Yeah, the movie about like the North Korean interview. They
Oh yeah.
spoil the entire movie right at the beginning. Where it's like
Oh.
you're gonna go in there, you're gonna poison him, and you're gonna leave. Yeah, but what if like I shoot him, and then like we have an action scene. Oh yeah, well he's surrounded by guards. What if he shoots you? I have a bulletproof vest, and like everything that he says in that scene right at the beginning of the movie is what actually happens. But because he said that at the another great example is Die Hard. They show you every element of Die Hard and what's going to happen right at the beginning. And then as it happens in the movie, you're like, oh, like because it makes you feel smart. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's that thing that I noticed earlier.
You know, the one I always find interesting is like when someone in a film or whatever describes like an event in like a book, and then the actual film like replicates. Like, I'll give you an example. Oh yeah, spoilers by the way. If you know, if anyone hasn't played this, in the Undead Nightmare DLC for Red Dead Redemption 1, his son Jack is reading a book, and he starts talking about the book from beginning to end. And if you listen to the plots and then you actually compare it to what happens in the game, like it's basically just the whole plot right there.
I mean,
So
it's called Chekhov's gun. It's setting something up earlier so that way it comes back later.
yeah,
And I think that if you do that, you also remove a lot of the we have to make this easier for idiots to understand.
mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever watched a new movie, for instance, where it's like, the characters will see an alien rip a dude's head off, and then
Yeah.
they go into his head, and now he is a zombie man. You would see that as an audience member, and you'd be like, okay, that's what the aliens do. But with modern movie writing, it's like, they're going into people's heads. It's turning them into zombies. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, thanks. I didn't need you to say that out loud. I think I got that.
It is kind of jarring now because I do think it's also kind of like that culture about how people have to like watch reels and like shorts now because they have like zero attention span, you know?
Oh, well, I think the other thing too is, and I've seen this firsthand, is that a lot of people will watch movies and not pay attention and watch phones to the point
Yeah.
where anime companies actually said that they're making the decision to make dialogue extraordinarily verbalized about what's happening, almost like audiobooks,
Oh,
because people aren't watching it. They're looking at their phones.
no, you see, that's the thing because I'm really conflicted on that because I get it, but at the same time, I kind of refuse to dumb it down for people to an extent.
Yeah, why? Why? It's the most like the way that we're presenting this plot. It is extraordinarily simple. Because I think that's one of the things that I really like about comics over, movies and stuff. Is you actually have to have the attention to read it.
You do, yeah, you do.
Like,
I mean, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes you might need to watch it a second time to pick up on everything, but still,
oh no, the rewatch value. Oh no, I'm getting more than my money's worth from something.
well, I mean that's the thing too. If you're watching a film more than once, that means you probably enjoy it. So,
that means the filmmaker did a good job.
oh yeah, like there was a time period where if I really liked a film, I'd probably watch it again the next day. So,
There was
I did that with
a
Die Hard.
period where movies were getting really good right after they were terrible. It was like, I think I watched Mad Max Fury Road in the theater like 4 times because I was like, wow, this kind of movie is not going to be made again. Like,
Yeah. That was the first film I watched in the cinema in like I think at that point it had already been like 10 years since I last went to the cinema, and that was like the first movie I watched. And I was like, oh my god, I miss doing this.
did you watch Furiosa?
I didn't. I was thinking about going to it. It's just everything at the time was just kind of like getting in my way. So
It's pretty good.
I think I have it somewhere. I might need to give it a watch.
Did you know the sad Mad Max statistic?
Isn't it always that it just about breaks even?
The only successful movie was the first one.
Yeah, that's crazy to me because I still think number 2 is the best one.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about like financial success because they made
Oh,
that
right.
movie for like what? I think they made that movie for like $300,000. I think it's even less than that. They made it for a ridiculously low amount of money, and then it made, adjusted for inflation, like $100 million.
Christ.
It was
Well-
until like the Blair Witch Project came out, it was the most successful movie based off of budget to income ratio. And then every movie after that breaks even.
God. Yeah, Mad Max. It's like it's one of those things where I really like the series, but goddamn, like financially, they just never seem to get quite there.
Also, George Miller is the only reason why like Australia has like Adam like Australia has a film industry because of George Miller. Because when Disney decided to close down their Australian like animation department, he just hired a lot of them to make Babe and like a whole bunch of other children's movies.
That's amazing.
I think they made like George Miller is attached to Happy Feet.
Happy Feet.
Yeah. Which is also why that movie is like a critique on religion because George Miller made it.
Dude, that you know, since you mentioned Babe the Pig, I learned recently that that second Babe film, it's like a weird like dystopian, like not horror, but like I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about Babe 2, and like when I looked it up, I was like, what the fuck is this film?
Yeah. It has a lot of like Brazil energy.
Because like so yeah, so almost like oh yeah, it's like this weird like almost fantasy like futuristic film. It's like then I looked up how it's like isn't like all the cities like major cities like combined into one or something?
It's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because like man, those movies just the fact that like the Mad Max guy was like, "Yeah, I'm done like watching people get run over by cars. I'm going to make talking animal movies."
kids, yeah. God, that's hilarious to me. I need to watch Babe 2. I've you know what fuck Babe 1. I don't need to see Babe 1.
I haven't seen it in like a decade. I barely remember what's in it.
Yeah. We could probably make that like a little movie night then.
I remember the movie had chapters, and in each chapter there are like rats in the walls that are just like singing and dancing and stuff. God, I watched Ratatouille again recently. That movie's really good.
I haven't seen it since it came out.
There's a part in the opening where he's like entering Paris and like he's going through like the ceiling of a building, and there's just a French crime drama happening in one of the rooms where like a lady is pointing a pistol at a dude and then shoots the ceiling, and then he looks back through the like gun hole and
He's
they're
just
like
like, "Oh."
making out.
Yeah, Ratatouille. Like I haven't seen that since it came out. Like I got reminded of it recently because the character his name's Remy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Remy's like a side character in Kingdom Hearts 3, where you like make food with him. So
That's very strange.
yeah. They meet him in the middle of like I think it's not Travis Town, it's that other like Twilight Town. They meet him in Twilight Town, and then he just like starts tugging at Sora's hair, and you could just make like a food mini game where he's just like controlling Sora. It's really weird.
That's a game series I literally can't play.
It's as someone that played it when I was younger, I can't recommend it to people. It's too cringy. Like the gameplay is amazing. Good story though, I'm just like, oh, this is difficult.
I mean, if you really like Disney stuff, it's still weird.
Well,
You have to like Disney stuff and Final Fantasy stuff, and that is a very hard ask. I guess there is overlap because they're successful games, but boy oh boy.
Kingdom Hearts to me, when I look back at it, it feels like one of those like fever dream franchises that shouldn't have existed because to me, it's like if I was in an elevator with you and like I'm like, you know what I'm thinking? What if we take Looney Tunes and then we combine it with Dragon Quest? You know what I mean? I'm just like, how did that even become successful? That
Well, I
sounds
think
like a madman.
I think that the success of that is the same way that like Roger Rabbit was successful,
Yeah.
which is it did a crossover in a time where crossovers weren't a thing. And just the mere fact that it is a crossover made it stand out. Because back in the day, trying to get intellectual properties to actually work with each other was
Yeah.
nigh impossible.
Yeah, and like nowadays, it's like, oh man, I do miss the days when like you'd like scream that like, oh my god, Link is in Soul Calibur, and it's just or like Darth Vader's in Soul Calibur. How? And then like nowadays, it's
You
like
have Minecraft Minecraft Steve eating a Tetsumaki Senpuku from Ryu from Street Fighter.
As Sonic the Hedgehog watches on, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, it's like it's just that thing where, and then nowadays, like then you have like your shitty mobile games where like. In fact, actually, last night I was looking up Hitman because I was like looking up something, and like sure enough, it's like, oh yeah, you can get Agent 47 as a character in this like weird like zombie apocalypse game. It's like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, like the novelty of having like Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse on the same screen. The novelty of that alone was worth the price of admission, and then it was an okay, like, mystery plot noir. Same thing. I think the same thing goes for like, not Final Fantasy, like Kingdom Hearts, is that it was really like the first one to like do a big crossover.
Oh yeah, totally. God, like, and it's crazy too. Like there was a lot of properties they wanted to put in that Roger Rabbit. Like when I was looking up like different characters they wanted to do, like Tom and Jerry was one that they wanted to try and get, but they couldn't like make a deal at the time.
I think the other reason why it works too is that it doesn't do the bad crossover thing where like, okay, for instance, like Batman versus Superman. They hate each other. They fight. They spend 90% of the movie not doing them being the superheroes. And then at the end, they fight for about 2 minutes. And then they have to get together to fight the big bad. It's like, Hulk versus Thor. Hulk bops around, and then eventually he meets Thor, and then they fight for about 2 minutes, and then they fight a big guy at the end, and then work together. Like those are what I consider bad crossovers. I would love to see a crossover where it's like, Thor versus like the Hulk, but at the end of it, the Hulk just rips his head off, and like there's just a definitive win.
No, yeah, I hate when it's like a stalemate, like because
at least then it would be like the reason why they don't do it is because it's going to alienate one half of the audience for that movie.
Yeah, but it's like, who gives a shit? Like, you want to see these fuckers fight, so someone has to be a winner.
Hey, Hollywood, you know how you could make this work since you're really hot about, like, alternate universes? Just steal the plot from the movie Clue, where you have two endings, and then right after the first ending, you just show the second ending, where the other guy dies. It could happen this way.
This isn't quite the same thing, because it's not like a crossover, but did you know in the new Mortal Kombat film, they actually suggest that like, every single ending in the series is canon to its own universe?
Man, that new Mortal Kombat movie is really bad.
Oh, the movie. I was on about the video game, but...
Yeah. No, like, that new Mortal Kombat movie is really, really bad.
Jesus.
Because they did that, like... It felt like an early 2000s movie, but with violence. So everyone's like, oh, it's violent. What do you want? It's Mortal Kombat. I'm like, I wanted a good movie, too.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, they made, like, good guy characters bad guys for no reason. There wasn't the actual Mortal Kombat. They how hard is it to just put fighters on an island and have them fight each other in a tournament? How hard is that?
So just the 90s, basically, yeah.
How hard is that? The 90s movie fucked it up, too.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, in a way. Because, the only actual tournament fights is, like... Most of the fights are them just kind of meeting up and fighting each other. The only tournament fight is, like, Liu Kang fighting random stick guy.
Yeah.
Kano and Sonya. And then, like, Katana versus... Liu Kang, and then they kind of leave it at a draw, and it's like a draw in Mortal Kombat. That's cute.
Well, then again, wasn't the one with Johnny and Goro technically one, or was that just like the revenge part at that point? I don't know.
I I really just don't understand how difficult can it be to just have like two guys, this guy, that guy fight. I mean,
one's funny.
wrestling has been doing it since forever.
Yeah,
Which is,
yeah.
yeah, Stone Cold, I'm gonna destroy you. Oh, yeah, well, not today. I'm gonna fuck you up. And then they fight, and then one of them wins, and then one of them loses, and then next week they do the same thing. Like, I don't understand how difficult that is for a fighting game movie. Like, even the Street Fighter movie couldn't do Street Fighter. And that's well animated.
God, the Street Fighter, it is really weird, like, because you know what I find really hilarious too about the animated Street Fighter film is like it seems more violent than the Mortal Kombat films.
Like, not only that, the best fight is like a really handsome man who's a psychopath fighting a half-naked woman who just
Vega,
came out of the shower.
Vega.
It's one of the best animated fight scenes ever, and it's right after a like nude gratuity shot.
I know, yeah. God, that also none of that too. With that KDFM song in the dub, like that lives in my head like rent free. That like.
Oh, you don't
Oh,
like
we don't know.
the very calm,
Smooth jazz. Yeah.
smooth jazz.
I feel like either one can work, but goddamn that like. I will not need you anymore. Give it to me.
You cannot hurt me. Reminds me of like the fucking reach out and touch me.
Give it to me.
Yeah. There's a anime slash manga reviewer from the channel Awesome Days called Bennett the Sage.
Well, yeah,
And that was his intro music. Yeah, he lost a lot of weight.
It's always mental seeing those Channel Awesome guys where they were compared to now, because like some of them either got like super fat or like they got super skinny.
I know that you didn't really watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
No, like never.
The guy that plays Goku in that used to be like close to 300 pounds. He was really fat.
Yeah.
And he lost so much weight, he went in the other direction and became a Slender Man.
That's freaky.
Yeah.
And I actually wonder though what happened in his life for that. I mean, he might have just had like a self-reflective moment, but still, like
he made a documentary about it, and it's really touching.
Oh, really? I'll have to look that up. You got me curious now.
You know, like I had to start somewhere, so like, you know, I was so out of shape that all I could do was walk to the end of the street and back to my house, and I just kept doing that every single day, and that's where I started. And you're like, wow,
that's actually kind of inspirational.
It is. Like, watching that is really inspirational. But a lot of people just, because he did voice work, you don't really know the face behind the voice. And when you do see his face now, he's like a thin Britishman.
I'm going to look him up, actually. Do you know his name, or should I just type in, like, Goku or Bridge Actor?
Yeah, just type in Goku or Bridge Actor. But, yeah, there's the page. I think this episode is pretty much done. Find out what happened to the Abridged Actor in episode 4 or 7 or whichever episode we're on.
Yeah, we're kind of naming them weird because like we uploaded what's called session 1, but then session 2 is really just like part 2 of session 1. But whatever, really. I mean, we took a break, so you could class it as a session.
See you next time, weirdos.
But yeah, no, that looks great. I like that. So.